Hidden Gems of DFW is a video podcast to help marketing professionals as well as newbies learn the art of marketing and finding the treasures that help a small business grow. This podcast will be filled with gems and treasures in the DFW area from some of the best guests in the business. And even if you are not in the DFW area, these treasures will work for you. And now get ready for the Hidden Gems of DFW podcast with Kris O'Connor. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here at Hidden Gems of DFW. I'm Kris O'Connor, your host, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have our guest today and introduce you to her. But first, I want to say that I hope a lot of you went out and got this book, The E-Myth Revisited, because I think it's going to help grow your business. Just learn about the systems in it. And the second thing I want to say is thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm telling you, I was so excited about all the views, all the comments, all the graciousness that all of you showed me for my first episode. It was very exciting, very humbling, very scary. And I'm just grateful that you want to watch and share in the journey that we are taking at Hidden Gems of DFW. So with that being said, I am so excited to have Carol Davis here from Crave Popcorn. We kind of alluded to it last week, but here we go. We're going to chat with Carol today, and we're going to learn about her journey because she's had some challenges in her business, and we're going to talk a little bit about where she's come from, what she's doing, and of course, we have that hidden gem for you at the very end of the show, so stay tuned. Welcome, Carol. I'm so excited you're here.
Oh my goodness. I'm so honored to be your guest today, Kris.
Oh, good, good. So let's start out with popcorn, of course. You know, yummy, yummy, smells good. But, you know, before the popcorn, you had a life. And we all have lives. And how did you get to that process? So I know you're married, you have kids, and then popcorn. And tell us a little bit about that journey and where you came from and how you arrived.
Okay. Well, I guess, you know, I thought about this recently. I graduated from University of Texas.
Woohoo!
Uh-huh. Well, it's not a whoop, it's a hook 'em.
I know.
I know,
okay.
right? Okay. I'm just kidding.
Correct me.
Yeah, no. But I went out and I did my first interview after getting my degree, and I did terrible. I had no confidence. It was a horrible interview, and I went to my dad and was like, I can't do this. And he's like, you know what? I need you at my business anyway for now. So let me just teach you some things. So I did that thinking I would do that for like, I don't know, a year, maybe two. Mm-hmm. And I stayed for a long time. And then my husband ended up working for my dad's company too. And it was such a blessing, actually, because we learned a lot about owning your own business when not even knowing how we were ever going to do this.
Right.
But I guess way back then, that kind of planted the seed or the dream to start our own business someday. Mm-hmm. And many, many years later, we were given an opportunity. And, you know, Blake, he's no longer with us. He's my late husband, but he had a passion for cooking. And I loved gift shops. And so we compromised because that's what marriage is about, right? And we found a little popcorn store that was for sale. And I was like, I don't want to buy that. I think we can do our own concept and make it uniquely us. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how we opened a popcorn store. And a big part of it, too, is, you know, the dream was not just to own our own business, but to teach our kids you know, the value of hard work, and, you know, things just don't appear on the dinner table, right? And I just appreciated my parents for teaching me that and instilling that kind of value in me. And so that's where.
So really, it sounds like going to work for your dad was kind of like when I was teaching in school and I was working with 650 kids every week. Mm-hmm. That was kind of like my groundwork for what I was going to in the future, which I had no idea. So basically you were kind of on the same journey, right?
Right.
What was your dad's business? What did he do?
He owned a wholesale, well, he started with a landscape company and then started driving around all the southern states of the United States trying to find cheaper plants, because the plants here in Texas, he couldn't get affordable plants, or he couldn't find what he wanted. There was a short supply back then in the 80s. And anyway, so he started driving to get all these supplies and materials, and his other landscape friends said, hey, can you get me some? So he started brokering that way, and realized, DFW needs a nursery, a wholesale nursery. So that's what really became the family business. I was pretty young when he started landscaping, but
So it's a service-based business.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's in your blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's awesome. Because basically, popcorn is service, right? I mean, you're servicing people and offering them popcorn. So so your husband cooked, and you were out front and setting everything up. Is that kind of how it worked?
I was kind of the face, I guess, that welcomed you. And Blake was very welcoming too, but yeah, he was kind of the operations, I guess you would say. And and that was really, or is really, one of the most rewarding things for me, is to get to know people, relate to them, welcome them into my world for a minute.
You two must have had a really good relationship, because it is really hard working with your spouse, or significant other, because there are days when you don't like each other, and there are days that you're like celebrating together, and in a way it's like a marriage, right? So I'm sure that you had some tough journeys along the way. And in about how many years, and then all of a sudden your world changed?
About 3 years after we opened Crave, Blake passed away suddenly on a plane trip ride to visit, to go to Wrigley Field. He was a big baseball fan. Aww. And so he was with some friends, and I never came home, but I just, during that time, I was surrounded by people that loved me and supported me, and all of Blake's family is like, we're still all very, very close. I consider them my family. And so I don't know, I decided, I can do this for him, for me, for us, for our kids.
Yeah.
And I don't know, people ask me that all the time, like, how do you get up every day? How did you get through that? And honestly, I don't know. I don't know how I did it, with a lot of prayer and faith. And
people go through tragedy, and unless you've gone through it yourself, it's really a hard question to answer.
It is.
Because, I just recently went through probably one of the biggest changes I have in a very long time. And in the beginning, it is tough. You don't want to get out of bed. You just want to pull the covers over your head and say, just take me away. I don't want to deal with life. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. But the reality is, you have kids. You have a business. You have family. You have friends. And you have to find a way to muster to get yourself out of that bed every morning. And you kind of just do. You kind of just do. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Right. And I don't think I saw an option to not do that. I didn't have a choice.
No.
I think your kids, your business, your whatever, your life, that's why you get up.
Well, we all have changes in life, right? And what road do we take? Do we go this way or that way, right? I mean, and you ask yourself the question, I'm sure you asked yourself the question, wow, he's not with me anymore. What do I do? What do I do? He was half of this business. He made all the popcorn. He did, all the mixing and all. He knows that. I don't know that. What do I do? So how did you get over that hurdle?
Well, I think it's a blur to me, in a sense, but we had a really great team of staff at the time, and they came forth like in droves. It was amazing to see the blessings and the people that just showed up. And I think that energy, that support, that anchor that you lean on people, and you're like, I don't know how to do this. Well, let me help you figure it out. And so I have girlfriends that would come in and be like, okay, let's figure this out. And we're going to figure it out together. And I don't know, I did know a lot about how to do, the production, but I was not familiar, and then probably the most challenging.
Knowing and doing are two different things.
Knowing and doing are two different things. And balancing doing what I was doing, all of it, really. It was just all of it. So I taught me a lot about being a business owner as far as like delegating and leaning on people. And that's not where my strengths lie. So it took me a lot of practice, but now
Well,
we're thriving.
when you have a great team, it makes it a lot easier, and it sounds like you had a lot of people that came forth to help you through that challenge. Now, how many years has it been since he passed?
4.
Okay, so leading up to 4 years, now where are we at? I mean, you feel more confident, you understand you've got your processes, your systems down.
Yeah. You know what? I can say this proudly. I'm really proud of my store and I'm proud of me. I think I've seen growth since then. And it's just I just think he's smiling in heaven, like that I didn't sell it, that I didn't get rid of it. And now my kids, we're talking about their future. And I was like, your dad and I did this to give to y'all, to pass on something that y'all could have and own and do. And if y'all want to, great. If you don't, that's great, but I'm glad I didn't let it go to give them that choice.
Right.
If they want.
Absolutely, because isn't
Someday,
that why we all go in business to hand it down to our kids? And give them the freedom that, and I don't know, is it freedom? But, well, you're not reporting to a boss, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that's freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of hours to run a business and, making sure that this gets paid and that hour gets covered. And
you're never really off either. You're kind of always on, but
24/7. I mean, I did that for 13 years. I understand. And this has been a challenge for me, waking up that I'm not on 24/7 anymore. It's kind of a different feeling. It's kind of nice, actually. Do I miss it? Sure. I mean, I loved what I did. When you love what you do, you don't feel the time. At least that's how I feel. What do you feel about that?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Some things I don't love as much as I like other things, but as a whole,
Oh, absolutely.
I couldn't be happier. I love this. I love this store. It's like a third child to me. I've got 2 kids and Crave.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And everybody that works for you is family.
Yeah.
And you care about them and they have their issues and you want to make sure that they're taken care of and covered and so on and so forth. So I'm excited for you. And next, what we want to talk about is we're going to talk about what has meant a lot for her in marketing her business, growing her business, and getting it to where it is today, and talking about maybe networking or some marketing tips that she can give us that helped her grow the business, especially now in the last 4 years. So we will be back in just a moment.
All I do is adore you all of the time. I like to. I like to. I like to love you every day. I like to love you, love you. I like to love you. If I may, I like to love you, love you. I like to love you. I like to love you night and day. If I may.
Hi, I'm Kris O'Connor with Hidden Gems of DFW, and Carol Davis here from Crave Popcorn, and we're chatting about her business and her journey. And now we're going to chat a little bit about how she grew the company and some of her tidbits of what works, what doesn't, and start sharing. Let me see what you have to say, because I think a lot of us small business and service area business have similarities, but I'm so eager to hear what you have to say, what worked, what didn't work, and kind of go from there.
Okay. Well, I started with foot traffic. Like I would go on foot to businesses locally right near my shop and take popcorn, introduce myself, just gift them popcorn, nothing more. I didn't ask them to keep a flyer in their place or anything. Just tried to build relationships. Initially, that's hard. It takes a long time. I did some...
But I will tell you, networking with food, get your foot inside the door, because
People love
if you
food.
walk in cold calling without food,
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
You got food? Come on in, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That does help. The popcorn helps, and it's delicious, so that's good too.
Yes.
I quickly figured out that, Facebook, Instagram, all that was. I know it's 8 years ago. I know it was around and it was a big deal, but it was still not like businesses weren't advertising. I didn't think they were, or I wasn't on enough to think that they were.
Well, it was newer.
It was newer.
It wasn't really a business thing.
Yeah, it was more. Yeah. So a friend of mine, close friend of mine, said you gotta do video on Facebook, and I was like, oh, who wants to be on camera? Like, I don't want to do that. And he's like, just try. Actually, even before that, he said, just be consistent. Post something every single day. I'm like, every single day? That's annoying, Quickly figured out that, it is. That's free advertising, So try to be consistent and always in people's forethought of their mind as far as like gift giving. And so I try to program my thinking to add that to my daily routine. And I think that really has built me a presence in the community. And then community, that was a big part of it too. I knew that I wanted to give back. And mostly education is where my heart kind of lies, I think, with students. And so I employ only students mostly. I mean, not only, but if a kid comes in looking for a first job, I'm like, yes, that gets me excited to see them grow.
Well, and it's I used to guide my son when he was that age, and I'd say you just need to walk in. You just need to talk to him.
And it's scary to a kid, and they don't talk to adults regularly. And
no.
Yeah.
They don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
My mom sent me in here.
Yeah.
She said I could get a job here, and their eyes are all over the place.
So teaching these kids, how to talk to adults and welcome them in, and then they get more comfortable in their skin, and they're watching me interact. And I think that whole feeling of family comes across and sells my business. I think people want to come back because we make them feel warm and comfortable. So building personal relationships that way, I guess. What else?
Well, I know you networked a lot, and I know that a lot of people have businesses, and they always try to figure out, well, not all of them, but some of them like to send thank you gifts, thank you notes, thank you something. And I know that you had or do have several people that you probably provide, whether it be, a can of popcorn or a bag of popcorn, or you have some type of program along those lines, don't you?
Yeah, we do. I rarely ever say no to an auction gift or something for a school, if that's what you mean.
Yeah. Or even businesses who want to thank somebody if they're a salesperson and send it as a thank you gift.
Yeah, I call that my corporate clients. We do a lot of that. For example, Pete Hutchinson, he's been buying tins for me for years. After he finishes painting a house or whatever customer he's working with, they get a popcorn tin from Pete. Then we do lots of corporate conference events. So you'll get a popcorn at a conference if you have the Omni Hotel is one of our great clients. Love the Omni. Do stuff with them in Frisco and in Dallas because they host so many conferences in their hotels. So that's great. That's marketing too, because people are seeing my name that I would never be able to reach.
Right. And how did you get those type of clients? Because you're right. How do you meet the person that you need to talk to get that type of a client? What did you do, or were you introduced at some event?
Build relationships. That was a friend of a friend, the Omni contact. But I did go visit hotels, and I got some accounts landed that way. Physically went in with samples and a smile and materials.
Yeah, you'd be hard to turn away. You're too adorable. I know.
You're sweet. Whatever.
No, it's true. It's very true because, and we used to get people at the garage door company. We used to get people walk in our showroom all the time. And, of course they asked for Kris, and they didn't know it was me.
Yeah.
And I say, well, Kris isn't available. And they'd always say, well, tell him or he, or, so I already knew that they had no idea who they were, trying to cold call with. But anytime somebody came in with food, my girls were all over it. They're like coming to my office, guess what we got? And actually one time we got delivered, and I'm telling you, we had a ball. It was gone within a couple hours.
I remember that. I think Jimmo at Victory Lane got that for y'all.
He sure did. And the girls loved it. The guys loved it too, because I'm not kidding, it was gone within a couple hours.
I love it.
All of it. So popcorn is a fun gift to give to people. I don't know many people that don't like popcorn, but at least somebody in their family might like popcorn.
That's right.
So what other networking things or tips do you think? Now, I notice you do a lot of videos. What do you think about videos and how you do videos?
I think videos are relatable. Like if somebody can get to know you, like it's intimidating for everybody. Nobody wants to be on camera, right? Even today, I was like, oh, I'm nervous, but people want to be a part of your story, and it's hard to do that with just a photograph, I think, So if people can listen to you and hear your story, hear your genuine love for what you're selling or what you're doing, your service, then they're gonna want to buy from you.
Absolutely, they're going to want to support you.
Yeah,
and I have found over the years that they'll refer you.
Yes, absolutely.
And to me, that's one of the highest compliments, is being referred from somebody. Absolutely. And, it's like I mentioned in my original video, it's the power of one. You help that one, and then it expands from there.
Yeah.
And, that's what you have to do as small business, right?
And that's what's rewarding too, right? If we can all help each other, because I'm such a supporter of small business, because I think, we have to work so hard to get the marketing.
Absolutely. We don't have the dollars. We don't have the corporate world dollars. We don't have the, the logos. We don't have the, the financial means to be able to do. Like I said, I did things on a shoestring budget. If it was free, I did it. Right.
Right.
How else are you going to get your stuff out there? There's still a lot of free things to do out there, but a lot of people will close their minds to it. But you've got to get your name out there, and you've got to share who you are. Yeah.
And you can't be the only one to do that. You've got to have people help you. So you've got to support other businesses so they support you, right? I know in my store, I do corporate labeling. Like I can add logos to any gift or bag. I'm charging for it now, but initially I didn't even charge for that, because I just wanted to help, help you build. And oftentimes I don't, but.
Well, you got to stay in business too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And, you don't have to make it an exuberant charge, but, a little side charge, most people will pay for it.
Pay for the printing, that's
you got your logo out there. It takes your time, right? And so, it works both ways. It definitely works both ways. Well, I think that's about all we have time for, the quick little networking and little tidbits that she does for her marketing. Next, we're going to move into, what is the hidden treasure in the treasure chest? So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. It's time for the hidden treasure time. And what's in the treasure chest? Well, Carol has brought her hidden treasure, and I don't disagree with what her hidden treasure is, because I talked about it last week and how long it took us to get a lead, a job, a friend. So let's reveal what she did. Carol received this honor from the Plano Chamber, and it is the Small Business of the Year. And let me tell you, it's an honor. So congratulations to you. Clap, clap, clap.
Such an honor.
So tell us, why is that your treasure? Why is the Plano Chamber your treasure?
Well, we joined the Plano Chamber of Commerce before we even opened Crave stores. And that was my dad's advice. He said, the first thing you need to do is join the chamber. And I said, well, I don't know what to say or do or present to them. We're not even open. And he's like, it's not about that. It's about building relationships. And so I did. And I didn't even go to the meetings at first because I was so intimidated. I think we were open probably for about 6 months before I ever went to a chamber event. And then I started going, and I was like, I hate this. This is so uncomfortable. I'm so intimidated. This room full of great people and great businesses, and I didn't want to push my business card in their face, So I knew, okay, you just got to keep going back and build the relationships. So I did that consistently for probably a year and a half. And then I started feeling comfortable and feeling like I had friends there. And quickly, just people started shopping with me, referring me, meeting me for coffee and sharing tidbits about how do we get through this world of owning our own business. Mm-hmm. Like, there's so many things I couldn't have done without the mentorship of a lot of people in the Plano Chamber.
Right.
So that's my gem. I think if you're thinking about considering opening a business, join a chamber.
Absolutely. Absolutely join a chamber wherever you are in this world. Yeah. Doesn't matter what city you're in. Hopefully you have here in Texas, we have very active chambers, very well-attended chambers, very well-attended events. Mm-hmm. And now that this fun little COVID is kind of over, things are starting to open up. There are a lot more events being planned. And yes, it's scary walking into that room. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. But as I mentioned, when we joined the Plano Chamber, it took 8 months. 8 months before one person trusted me. It's not like you're going to get it overnight. Right. You got to build. Exactly. Yeah. So I think the theme of what we're talking about today is building relationships. For sure. Okay. Mm-hmm. Not cramming your product or your service down their throat, just building a friendship and helping each other grow or giving each other confidence or pats on the back, because we all feel that, Carol. We all feel that intimidation when we walk in the room. Yeah. I did in 2007 because I didn't know anything about business. I had no idea. Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. But everyone else appeared that they knew what they were doing. Right. But in reality, they didn't, because they were doing the same things we were, right? Just some people were a little farther advanced. Right. So what do you think, is there like the morning BI, or is it the women's division, or was it the night network? And what do you feel worked the best for you? I have kids that were younger when we first opened, and so I had to pick something that worked for my schedule, which was also a really positive thing about the chamber, because they offer different things at different times of the day. So I could go to the business interchange. I could do that every Friday morning because it was early, and that just worked for my family. And then I went to the women's divisions too. You can't do it all, right? Right. And I didn't do women's division every month, but that was only once a month. So, but the more consistent that you could be, and I found that the Friday morning was every week. So it was something repetitious every week, every 7 days. That's people are going to remember you if you go every single week. Yes. So that's what worked for me. But. And that's key. I mean, if you're going to, it doesn't matter if you join a chamber. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter what networking group. Yeah. I mean, there's BNI and there's so many other networking groups. If you want to be successful, you got to put the work in. You got to show up. You got to show up. Right. You can't just join something and say, let the business come, right? Yeah, it will come, like that movie, Field of Dreams, right? Place the baseball field, they will come, right? Yeah. Okay, well, you can't just join a group and say they will come. Right. So again, the theme is building relationships and feeling comfortable with people and trusting people. And,
Right.
when you're just with strangers, it's kind of hard to do.
It is.
But I think a lot of small businesses don't have that camaraderie to come together to talk business.
Yeah.
Because you're normally by yourself or with your friend or husband or whatever, right?
Right.
And sometimes it makes it really difficult to and talk about challenges that you're having.
Yeah.
But when you hear other people talking about it, you can kind of think, oh, wow, I'm having that problem. Oh, I got to listen to this conversation,
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I should try that.
Yeah.
Did you find any of that kind of thing?
Yeah, I do. And I think when I first joined and first started going to meetings, I felt like I was a competitor of everyone in the room. Anyone that had any sort of service, like gifts or, and any other food or whatever. And then I realized these are the people that I actually am closest with now because we have relatable businesses.
Yes.
And we figured out how to work with each other. So like, for example, Kaboom Chakalaka is this great little candy chocolate pinata making business, and she's precious. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's too good. She's going to steal my gift giving business. Oh my gosh, Jill and I compliment each other all the time. Same with ML DeBay. I carry her toffee in my store. I use toffee in her. I use her toffee in one of our popcorn flavors. I have since we became friends. And I think that's funny how that's what intimidated me initially. But, and then going back to trusting everyone, that's kind of scary, right? In a room of people you don't know. But I think with the chamber, you get accountability, because nobody wants to disappoint anybody or your name's mud, right? So that's what I liked about it too. I think that was very valuable, and that I could really ask for advice and get trustworthy answers.
Well, when you're with your peers and you've got service and small business, and you are a service or a small business, a lot of them have been through the trenches. A lot of them have already experienced what you're experiencing.
Right.
So if you can learn from their mistakes or their positive, outcomes, it saves you time and headache.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer of mastermind groups. And mastermind groups really is your boardroom, is what I always called it.
Okay.
And where you can bounce your ideas off many other people. And so when you bounce your ideas off of many other people, it might be good, it might be bad, or they'll tweak it. And you're like, oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get too close to your product, right?
Yeah. It's hard to pull yourself back and remove yourself when you
use it every day. You do it every day. You make it every day.
Right.
You talk about it every day. And the simplicity of some of it we overlook because we do that, right? And somebody from the outside looking in might give you a better idea.
Yeah.
And so the chamber is full. All chambers in this area that I know of I've been to a lot of them.
Yeah.
And there are so many great people in the chambers, and they're so willing to help that I think that if you are definitely thinking about a business, you should join a chamber. But don't just join it. Attend the functions, whatever works in your schedule, because if you are no-show, you're going to have no business.
Right.
Thank you so much, Carol.
So my
I am so
pleasure.
excited that
This
you were
was so
here
fun.
today.
Yeah.
And congratulations
Thank
on
you.
Small Business
Thank
of
you
the
so
Year.
much.
It's an honor.
It's a huge honor. I'm very, very blessed in my life. So
It's saying something that you're doing something right. And I'm really proud of your adventure. I've watched you for many years.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to have you on today, because
thanks, Kris. I appreciate you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, I've watched from afar, and I don't know if I could have done the same thing as you, but I'm just happy to have Carol here. And I want Carol to tell you where to find her, where her business is, her website, and all that. So let everybody know where they can find you.
All right. Well, Crave Popcorn is available online at cravepopcorn.com. You can also find our brick and mortar store at Lakeside Market in Plano, Texas. It's 4021 Preston Road, Suite 619. And then we also have a phone, like the good old days, landline and all. It's 972-608-9900. I would love to meet you and welcome you into my store anytime. Thank you so much for having me today, Kris.
You're
It's
so
been
welcome.
fun.
And it's a fun store. It just is nostalgia. I'm telling you, it's so much fun to go in.
It's fun.
You got to stop by and say hi to Carol. Thanks so much, everybody. That's a wrap.
Bye.
Thanks for watching and listening to Hidden Gems of DFW with Kris O'Connor. Don't forget to subscribe. Feel free to connect with me. I love hearing your successes.